elevate our leaders, my Father. We ask that there may be peace in this country. Thank you, for you are good. In Jesus' name I pray and believe.
Amen. So ningeomba tukae, and I want to ask, I don't know whether Nancy is here or Rosemary from Plan International. Kindly come and say a word. Thereafter atafuatwa na one of our sponsors also, Plan Transparency International.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Nancy Okot. I work for Plan International for this particular project called She Leads Alliance, where we are working with girls and young women on different issues from the community level to the national level. But ideally, the key thing we are working on is to amplify the voices of the girls and young women so that they are able to participate at different levels. I am glad today for this particular activity that has been organized by the partners so that we are able to have our women rep candidates dialogue with us. And it is a very good opportunity for the girls and young women so that they are able to know what is the need for them in the manifestos or in the plans for our candidates. They also want to see, I know it is not only for the girls and young women, we also have different people. We have the youth, which are the boys included. We have the persons with disability. We have our mothers here, and we also have our fathers here. So they just want to know and they just want to see, are they fitting into your plans in the next government? Because most of the time you realize people have always made plans. But again, the plans are always all under one roof. Nobody knows where they fit. But I think this is a very good opportunity for the people represented here to know where are they fitting in the manifestos of our candidates. Thank you very much, and I look forward to a positive dialogue session. Asante.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nancy. Plan International, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derek Mahalia from Transparency International Kenya, and we are here courtesy of a program called SIP, Strengthening Electoral Accountability and Integrity Program. And the program is supported by USAID, and there are four main pillars in the SIP project that we are implementing. The first pillar is focused on providing technical assistance to electoral institutions to ensure that they deliver a credible, free, fair and peaceful elections. The second pillar is supporting gender during the electoral, gender and inclusivity in the electoral process. The third pillar is supporting inter-party democracy, supporting mainly political parties to ensure that they also have democratic processes within their party affairs. And the last pillar, which this is anchored in, is supporting leadership and integrity in elective office. And one of the activities under that pillar is conducting social vetting exercises in 4 different counties, Kisumu being one of them. The idea is to encourage candidates and leaders to interact with the electorate, so that at the time of making the decision on the ballot, the electorate is able to make an informed decision. We believe that once we have informed the electorate, we will have good leaders and they'll be able to help us in the fight against corruption. So that is why we are here, and I just want to thank all the organizers for making this happen, the participants and the audience for being here today, and very importantly, our candidates who have honored our call, and of course our moderator. So asanteni sana. I hope you will enjoy, I hope you will make the most out of it, and most importantly, I hope it will be able to influence or solidify the decision that you will make during the elections. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much. We give a coffee. So ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Team Transform Empowerment Faction Initiative, we are excited to be here as part of this conversation. Our business is that we run a women academy, especially on political leadership, and that's why we are here. And I want to believe that out of the conversations we are going to have here will make us have informed choices. And just like I said earlier, every single cleared candidate was invited, and 2 of them chose not to do what? Not to come. I am saying this and I'm repeating because kuna tabia mko nayo ya kuweka vitu kwa social media kwamba mtu wetu amefanywa nini? Ameachwa. That has to be very clear, and I hope this is live and everybody is getting this information. Now, before I hand over to James Matt, who is our moderator, down in the house as a presentation. Hivyo tukienda. Teke jamaa.
Check, 1, 2. Good morning. My name is David, as you said, or Jogi Wuyo. So today I'll be here as a poet. I'll just take you through some series of wordplay kidogo before tuendelee. Munai chocho gilala na hero wakakala wamado chak mawach mano mazino mala dutonago bala obana ni gojala madaro umrejwala dito doke dala kindemani kironagla ipado piengech mano lunge gundo hangla o tuko dajawa nyatiti kod gara to rocket sigara to wanya mato rocket awuono nyarodero rest in peace mano wayo chuna nyaka chugi waya nyaka waya mayuaya mano donge olawa oluoch bende waya rest in peace muya mochuelewe kuna donge thumo jogi donge thumo mangiluogo imawunda lego ndako do Kisumu wanoseka yanga rumtidi speedy osemo ngoni jogi tidi jobidi wasemo rubutra mogi tidi batingo kinde mane kwachra ndimtire ya mede to chimba nego lam in the other city. Hollywood Marone Giki Odagocha City, Kisumu City, Europe City, Kisumu City, Europe City, Kisumu City, Europe City. Nilo sira wene kugwen asena ngagwata, rujina kalando manoli eboguta, jogo makupacha, tide agalogeta. Osira wene kugwen asena ngagwata, rujina kalando manoli eboguta. Jogo loko kita tinde kura gwelo kita sila wende kogwen Nema umuro guarana Maro hero guarana Maro dakarina Maro bel marina kanye Samba marina Maro gimari maro hero gik maringo Maro nurego Maro ngaonengo Maro nikinanga Maro hera tuanga Maro podo tuanga Maro chwado shenga Maro kan sing yude baki de karaoke Maro hero koke Maro goga koko Maro singili logo chuni nyaki yuwa gogo Mondi pig dogo Oki ink chogo Maro hero chogo Maro jotu chogo Maro niki gigo Maro niki ego Maro hero rich Maro ko hero meet my red Mariswell red Mariswell fed Mariswell paid Maro niki iPhone Maro niki iPad Maro niki password Maro Wi-Fi, Maro hero sci-fi, Maro trado hi-fi, Maro timo form 5, Maro lunas, Maro hero grammar, Maro Grammy, Maro hero movie, action movie, Maro video music, Maro hero art, Maro hero Mozart, Maro nigi sat, Maro nigi degree, Maro timo PhD, achano duaga dhukadi, Maro multilingual, achano wacho dhukadi. Pedagogy, technology, monology, biology, biology, Pythagoras theorem, Pythagoras theorem, first year, first step, narologi dem, manyaka dem, to uncle Adam, amoso madam, bakoyo madam number, ni madam, nependi, connect 070, ni kone wago selfie, nyingi ngamo ndadagi, kwa ndadagi, kikibloka, kidotio emoji, kikiduoka, kigotio oji, aya yinyano, kapoda unge mtoka, sai podrego moka, unisano mos, the mos, till tiki o tiki nyos, you were doing your stones, angano kubili kisimba spoon, but now look at the river soon. The essence of the river and the source by Margaret Ogono. So gifted and limited, the rest are universal, speeding to prohibited, no time for rehearsals. Pay us the dividends that will touch corruption, intelligent, narco has malevolent reactions. trick questions, effective deception, na kuanga serious kama your cardiac infarction, knee-jerk reactions tukiongeza traction, engineer to perfection, precision in a fraction. Flight of the handle, see as I wake a candle, I swing for the fences, jogging from the trenches, loose like a manches, nikirusha ma punches, fly high, catch your paza apache, lock patchy, Castellam Nyasachi, umeruga Versace na bado unaka ratchet, strapped to a rocket, cause stage me who rock it, brother check your pocket before wings were docket. Ever eccentric na flow ingine electric, so sweet in job kwa diabetics, mageriatrics, hadi mapediatrics, wababika hizi madiri called athletics. Then authentic na zinakuja plenty, my Spider-Man senses zinakuanga ever ready. Pigia pedi, mina dai kumedi, mahedi, kwa rizla, buda high grade, kidevu manai na loto nipate mango, tetobo na ndai na lot na perpetual tango. Tango 1, tango 2, what's your tango, nyakuwa ndege. Poda yono banjo, wechoko for getiang, isega chono matiang, banindo tunatiang.
Thank you. Tuko sawa? Okay, so two things before we go ahead. So my job here first is to make sure that the people seated here listen to you. Tunaelewana? That is my job. Okay? Because most of the time we imagine politics and election is about the politicians. It's actually the opposite. But it's because they spend a lot of time on the political platforms with microphones on top of cars and that sort of thing, and they talk to us, they talk for us, but rarely we have an opportunity as voters to do what? To do what? To talk to them and ask them. Nikweli? So I hope this morning we do that. Sawa sawa? That's number one. Number two, and I repeat this, that my understanding was 4 candidates were invited for this meeting. 2 have showed up, all right? And so we left those 2 seats there to show that their seat is still there. If they come in the next 30 minutes, it's fine. If they come in the next 1 hour, it's fine. If they don't come at all, it's still what? Still fine. Sawa sawa? So let's spend the next 2 hours really interrogating first the position of women rep, and most importantly, let's spend the time to ask the 2 candidates who have showed their time to interrogate them, interrogate their policies, and deeply understand what we can do together. Sawa sawa? All right. So the way we structure this is we spend time to listen to them, but we spend a lot of time listening to you and asking questions. And the best way to have many people ask their questions is if you get the opportunity to quickly say your name and ask your question. Tunaelewana? I'll be a bit strict on that. So without much further ado, allow me to ask our candidates who've come this morning, number 1, to introduce themselves and to give us an opening statement. And I would ask this, as you give your opening statement, tell us what's the most important thing that you as a candidate have put forward for the position of woman rep, and if you win, what you're going to do about it. Let me start from extreme right.
Good morning, the people of Kisumu. Good morning again. Good morning. Thank you so much for finding the time to be here this morning. It's a great pleasure to see you here. For this position, there's always been a problem, even those of us who went for nominations, that always we find a greater percentage of people who are undecided or they don't know where they can put their votes. So we are happy you found the time to be here. My name, I'm Dr. Rose Kisia Omondi. I come from Nyakach sub-county. I'm married to Professor Paul Omondi of Moi University. I have 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl. In terms of career, I'm basically in the academics. I've lectured at Moi University for 10 years, and then lately at Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University for another 4 years. In between, I worked at Kisumu County as a CEC in charge of tourism, trade and heritage. Apart from that, maybe my education, I have Bachelor's of Commerce from Nairobi University, an MBA from the University of Wales, UK, and a PhD from the University of Waikato in New Zealand. And that PhD won a Emerald Award for an outstanding work in 2011. Maybe if more is needed, I will pick it from there. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. First of all, I want to thank you all for taking your time to come and listen to what we have for you and to come and discuss the issues that we have. So my name is Valentine Anyango Tieno. I am a 22-year-old graduate from the University of Nairobi. I have graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree in education. I am a teacher by profession and a teacher of English and literature. I have not had any work experience apart from the 3-month training for teachers that we usually call teaching practice. And just like James Smart has asked that, we talk about the most important thing that we want to do for the people of Kisumu County. First of all, I believe that the office of the woman representative is an office that came as a result of affirmative action. This office was created to help us in bridging the gap between men and women in the parliament. Now, this office is also created to focus on the vulnerable people of a society. We all know that an MCA represents a ward, an MP represents a constituency, and a governor represents a county. For the woman representative, you are mainly supposed to represent the vulnerable people in the society. And who are the vulnerable people in the society? The vulnerable people in the society are women. These are young people. These are people living with different disabilities. The vulnerable people are the old, and the vulnerable people are young girls. Now, these are what my focus is on. I want to bring a transformative and progressive leadership that will directly influence the lives of the people that I mainly target and the people that I want to represent. I believe that I'm the best for this position because, for one, I am in a vulnerable position. One thing, I am young. Second thing, I am a woman. So I am at a very good position to understand the issues that affect the young people. I am in a very good position to understand the issues that affect the women of Kisumu County. I'm also in a very good condition to understand the struggles that people go through as they grow up, given my conditions when I was growing up. Thank you.
Thank you. So I just want to do one round before I come here. Please, what are the sort of the key 3 issues and problems that the people of Kisumu face and your office is going to solve if you win office? Dr. I start with you.
Thank you so much for that other question. I just realized I introduced myself and didn't put forward that one thing that you asked about. I think that one thing for me, and I think when you leave this room, you'll all have my card with those 6 points agenda. But that one thing is transformative leadership. And if I talk about the problem of Kisumu, I thank God that I had the opportunity to work in this county. And therefore, I transverse from one corner to the other. And apart from that, I also live in the rural area. I also live in urban center like Kisumu city. So I really do understand the problem. Now, this office in particular, I think people sometimes misinterpret it. It is a woman rep, not women rep, meaning you're one woman, but you are representing the people of your county. In fact, officially, they even call it a county MP. So meaning you represent everybody in the county, but the focus is more on the vulnerable. The young girls, people that are able differently, and so on in our society. So in my office, what I think I would start with, if I go through my 6-point agenda, is I would want to empower people to promote income generating activities. That should be through agriculture, through trade or business, and also through maybe those who like rearing, like cattle rearing, chicken rearing, whatever it is. We realize that in Kisumu, even the eggs, they come from Uganda. And yet, doing something like that can create an income for our people. So that is one thing that I would want to do. The second thing that I would want to do is education and continuing education. Education, most of us think about through bursaries and all that, but when we talk about continuing education, I saw this when I was teaching at Moi University, where people would come to continue with their education, and they go to school in the evening, they work in the daytime. And after that, a lot of lives were transformed. I have a secretary, for example, that was just a mayor secretary, but as we speak today, is a professor. So I borrowed the same model, and I think there are a number of people, we have talked to them, those who are in the border industry, those who are in the saloon, or any other trade, small trade. Some of these people are quite bright, and they can do that in the daytime, and in the evening or weekend, they can go back to school, and we can truly transform their lives, because nobody can be a border rider the rest of his life. So my second point agenda is to transform the lives. My third point agenda is employment, nationally and internationally. Personally, internationally, as you've heard, I've had the opportunity to be outside the country, and also I've had the opportunity to attend over 25 international conferences, mainly on gender. So one thing that I can borrow internationally is that we can export labor abroad. We can export specialized area like nursing, like ICT, like even construction, even saloon work. And we can see the county of Kisii is at that level because a number of their citizens are abroad, especially in the USA. How am I going to do this? I'm going to create a fund within our law where I saw in New Zealand you can go, for example, 3 months certificate or diploma. After that, you get a job in that country. So I'm sure we can do that. And once they are there, they start the work, they refund the money so that next year our other young person can use that facility. So it will be like a revolving thing. So that way we transform people's life, truly. We are thinking in the rural areas of clean water. If you live in the rural areas of Kisumu, in Kenya in general, we know the kind of problems that young women go through. And in my area in particular in Nyakach, water is a big problem. And we can contribute to clean water through boreholes and other policies in parliament that can enhance that. We are thinking of empowering women groups, youth groups, and people living with disabilities, and associations like Border Tuk by giving them grants to enhance whatever they are involved in.
Sorry, I'll have to cut you short.
Yeah, actually that was the last one.
Yeah.
So these are the things that I truly believe can transform the lives of the people of Kisumu. And as I said, I've seen them, I've experienced, and I know we can do them for our people. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. I'll have to be fair to you and give you the same opportunity. Spend a bit less time this time. Please take 3 things that you...
So your question was the problems that the people of Kisumu County are facing. And these problems are very simple, but these are problems that we have been talking about time and time again while nothing is being done about it. For one thing, we have different groups in Kisumu County, and I would like to start with the women of Kisumu County. I have personally grown up with a widowed mother. My mother was widowed when I was still in Form 2. So for one thing, I saw her struggle a lot to even put food on the table, or to even take us to school, or to even buy us simple clothes or things like that. And this is not just with my mother. There are thousands of women in Kisumu County who have lost their husbands, some through death and some through divorce and issues like that. There are thousands of women who got children and are not married. And these women have the responsibility of taking care of these children all on their own. So for one thing, the women of Kisumu County are experiencing challenges with issues to do with employment. And you find that 90% of these women are in the markets or have businesses that they're hustling with. So you find that most women in the market have problems with the market business funds. They do not have funds to do this market. When they experience a problem like school fee issues or health issues, the business totally goes down. So this is a problem that I want to solve by bringing Market Prosperity Fund for my mothers in the market. This is a kitty that is going to help these women. They're going to borrow money from this kitty, improve their businesses, and after they get the profit and all of that, they return this money with absolutely no interest. This is going to help the women of Kisumu County to have a consistent flow of cash to help them with their daily-to-day businesses. We have another group of people who are the young people of Kisumu County. The young people of Kisumu County consist of 65% of the total population. And you find that most of these people are either graduates, and some of them are people who could not find the opportunity to go to school. So they are just at home, they have not been employed, they have nothing to do, or if they have like a business idea, then they do not have money to run it. So unemployment is a very big issue affecting the young people of Kisumu County. And this is why I want to create enabling spaces for the young people. And not just enabling spaces or politically correct terms. I want to have practical, simple, and affordable solutions like business incubation centers. Business incubation centers or centers for B spaces where young people with business ideas can be trained, and their ideas can be taught on how to manage these businesses and how to find funds for these businesses and how to run these. Kisumu County are bright, they have knowledge, they have ideas, but they do not have the space and the resources to start these businesses. So that is one thing that I want to do for the young people of Kisumu County. Another thing that is also targeting young girls and young women of this county is I want to bring vocational training centers or use the existing ones and sponsor several students of this county into these training institution centers and have them trained on basic life skills like plumbing, things that do not need a degree or education certificates to do. Beauty and salon, catering, plumbing, being an electrician, they can be taught how to drive, so they can be drivers. By doing this, we are going to be creating opportunities and also instilling skills on these young people. The incumbent, Honorable Rosa Boyu, partnered with NITA, and she had several girls who were sponsored into these institutions. The problem came when I sat down with her. The problem came when you want to put these skills into the market. Now there is no job for the already trained people. Now this is why I want to partner with private sectors to make sure that we have social enterprises, non-profit organizations that can help people create a job for them at the same time while also training them to be good at what they can do. Another thing that faces...
Okay, I have to cut you. That's it. We'll come back to these things. So you've had all these bag of issues and, bag of promises, from employment to, social things. I think there's a microphone going round. Let's start with what you've had. Do you feel and think the issues you've had here are enough? Do you have other issues to include? So say your name and briefly, please start.
Yes, good morning. Hello. Sorry for that. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
You'll allow me to sit. My name is Nick Makondwat. I work with Kisumu Action Disability Development Network. It's an organization advocating for the rights of persons with disability. I have a concern for both of you. One, Valentine, you're saying that you'll be focusing on women, and you've talked much of single women, you've talked of widows, you've talked of maybe single mothers who have children but they don't have fathers. You've also talked about those who are divorced. Is it that you are only focusing on only those who are single, divorced, and widows, rather than women in general? To Madame Kisia, you've said that you have intention of maybe having a program, of maybe flying or having a program with international bodies, maybe to take some maybe students or people outside for maybe further studies or for such programs. You are in the government of Professor Nyang'o. You are a minister. Yes. Be it in Nyong or Ranguma. Why would you use such opportunity to implement such so that we get such opportunities within this locality? And last, to all of you, what are you having for persons with disabilities specifically, something which is tangible, which you are going to leave as a mark for persons with disability? And as we speak now, who is in your team to articulate, to help you articulate issues of persons with disability? Or have you met persons with disability and shared with them their problems, not what you think is their problems?
Thank you. Can I get another question, please?
Habari zenu. Amjambo wote. Wanaong'ang'ania kiti cha bunge la kaunti, ninyi baada ya Mungu sana, kwa sababu nyinyi mnaenda yenye mnaona. Dhana lenu la kigudu aliko kwa watu walemavu. Dadangu Daktari Kisi, umesoma natoka Nyakati. Siku ama nyakati zingine hujawahi kuwa na sera kuhusu watu walemavu. Na Nyakati kwa kaunti nzima ya Kisumu ndiko na population kubwa ya walemavu. Ajenda yao hujasema, wengine wanatoka mpaka karibu na wewe. Manake chunyo hiyo mboge. Dadangu Valentine, juzi ndio umetoka Nyakwarka. Have you ever not made even a person with disability mwenye ako na mafikira yake na hali yake kwa vyovyote? Kwa maana hata mnasema maneno ya kazi, haujasema mimi kwa ofisi yangu tajiri mtu wa kwanza ni mlemavu. Mmetuweka kwenye taka. Hatujapendeza na nyinyi nyote, kwanza nyinyi wagombeji wote. Nyinyi tunaendea maandamano hivi karibuni. Hamna sera bado.
Asante. Tupate swali lingine.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ms. Omerigoreti from Kisumu West in Shilit's team. So I have two questions. One goes to Valentine. You've just talked about TVET and ensuring that girls and young women back in the community get chances to go to vocational training centers. Then how will you do this? How will you do the sensitization so that girls can know about these causes, and how will the vulnerable girls back in the community get the opportunity to chip into the favorable causes? Two, you've just, Madam Kisia, you've talked about women getting opportunity to fly outside, maybe to look for jobs and for further education. Then you find that when you want to acquire a passport, like yesterday I was in Uduma, the treatment there is pathetic. You are being asked so many questions, also to the young girls and women. You are having so many questions as to why you want the passport and as to why you want to fly outside. So if there can be some laws guiding us, so that when you go there to look for passport, you are free to go. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I have a question before I come back.
Okay, thank you. I'm Nora Okeo from Kisumu West under She Lives program. My first question goes to Valentine. You said you will tackle issues to do with single parents, as in single mothers, but according to whatever we are going through right now, we are being told that in Kenya is number 3 for early teenage pregnancies. The whole world, Kenya is number 3. So how will you stop this so that at least you can help girls be in a position to do something such that they cannot think about going to men so that they can get those babies and have nothing to do?
Okay, great. Let's deal with that first before I come for another round. Let's start with the big question on the disability. All right. You've all been told none of you has a program for persons living with disability. Let's start with you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll have to, when you get to that office, sit down with these people, but at the moment, and also not wait for that, because I know next week I'm planning to meet with them, and I will know really their needs before even that office. But I think one thing that I thought of, it may not be so relevant, but one thing that I thought of is that I included the grants, giving grants to women groups, and I think I included people living with disabilities, or people who are able differently. Then somebody asked me about these people in Nyakach. I am in touch with quite a number of them in Nyakach, and maybe if he's from Nyakach, I can give him those contacts. Then somebody asked about why, when I was in the county government, I did not initiate this program that I'm talking about. I want to state here specifically that when you are a CEC, you are like a minister and you are in charge of a particular docket. However, when you meet in cabinet, you can bring your idea to which your colleague in the other docket can pick, or the governor himself can pick up. My docket when I worked with the Kisumu County government was tourism, trade, and heritage. And that is where I can enumerate the kind of work I did.
What did you do?
Thank you. I built, or together with the government then, because when I say I, let me use the word we, but I like using the word I because I'm a qualitative researcher. So we built over 35 markets, or market sheds. Korowe is one of them. Kobewa is another. Miwani is another. Chemelil is another. Holo is another, and many others. I think I was one of the few CECs that truly came up with a policy, and that was trade fund policy. There was public participation about it, and we worked on it through, and eventually it was signed into a county law. It has not been implemented to date because it was just towards the time that we were leaving. But in that policy, what I did that was, or we did that was important, was that when I came into the government, I found a national government loan. And that loan required you have title deals, you have business permit, you had so many things that our small young women in the market could not afford or did not have. So I said, this loan is not helping our people. We need to come up with a different trade fund that would be useful to our people. So that one, we consider that we'll be giving loans to markets, including daytime loan. Mtu yenye anataka chukua tomato, 1 box in the morning, auze that day, aende nyumbani na profit. So we came up with various different types of loans. So that's one thing that I also did in the trade department. In tourism department, I mapped all the tourism sites in Kisumu County. That went through ours, you'd see Luanda Magere tourist site. If you went to Koseme, you'll see Kitmikai tourist sites, and there were 67. So I did that. What was remaining is to start marketing them, which I also developed the marketing pamphlets for them. In terms of heritage, at least we built one heritage center in Kachito, and then I also organized the first and the second Pinyiluo Cultural Festival. Some of you might have attended it. The idea of that festival was that if we continued like the Turkana one, by today we would be attracting visitors from abroad. So we would promote our culture, but also earn from tourism. So those were the works that were I was directly responsible for. Not education, but as a member of the cabinet, we could have discussed some of those things, but then it depended on my colleague whether that she thought that was a good idea or otherwise. And then the idea of passport. Passport is one thing, and a visa is even another. No, the struggle there, I know how hard it is to even get a visa to go to some of these Western countries. But that's why I'm saying, once we get this office, we will create a fund, and even once you have that program, you must have somebody that is in charge of that program. So now, this issue of where are you going, or whatever, you'll have a letter from the office saying so and so, you will be sponsored by this program in the women's rep office, and we'll be traveling to Germany for 3 months course or whatever, and that we will be responsible for such travel. So once you go there, the 3 months is over, get the job and give us the money so your sister or brother can also go next year or something like that. So I think those are some of the questions.
Now there's a final question. How do you have any program to stop teenage pregnancy? What's your ideas on that?
Okay, that was it was a question, but I think it was directed to her, but I will respond to it.
I'm asking you now.
Yes.
No, I'm asking you now.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'll respond to it, isn't it?
Now I want you to respond first. Like respond now before she comes, so she responds fully.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, respond. Okay, go for it.
All right. So I am a mother, and I said I have 2 boys and 1 girl. So fortunately, because the girl is just 1, we are good sisters with my daughter. So I learn a lot about young people issues. Something, I'm not saying, but something that I know young girls do, I am a Catholic, and there are certain things I don't advocate for. For example, the morning, I don't know, they're called morning pills. I don't advocate for that. I don't advocate for termination of pregnancy. If you're a young girl, I don't advocate for that. However, I will have a program, almost like Mama County program, that I will be talking to young girls, understanding their program, more or less like counseling. The main problem with the young girls today, I know, I can't pretend that I don't know, is lack of that little resources, even to buy a sanitary towel. It's a real problem, even for the girls that are outside the school. So sometimes you find that they end up meeting young men that will say, okay, I'll give you 100, 200 to secure that. And then once that happens, the pregnancy comes up. So should they be unfortunate to get pregnant, we will take care to ensure that they deliver safely. And I'm just thinking loudly that we could have, even through women's connections or international, whatever, some program where we can even have a baby care center where we can keep these babies, even like a boarding or whatever, like a children's home or whatever, but not home like we take the children forever, but keep them there and empower the mother to go back to school for a complete training or something like that, so that their mind is free. They know that their baby is safe somewhere, and then we continue to support them. So personally, I think that's what I'll do. I cannot say that I am going to stop them from doing that, but I don't advocate for termination of pregnancies. You will, if I get this office, I'll support you, but you'll carry that baby to a full term, give birth to the baby, and then we will see what to do with the baby and empower you now that you're a young mother, so that you can in future be able to take care of this baby properly and other babies that will come after.
Okay, I know the experts in the room want to get into that, but let me get you from the same question. Do you have any ideas on how to stop teenage pregnancy?
First of all, from how she asked the question, I'd like to just answer from her point of view. She asked that why am I advocating for teenage, for young women who are pregnant? I want to mention that these things happen, and it's not by their choice or their wanting that they get pregnant. Mistake happens. A lot of girls in the villages or even in the cities make mistakes, and a lot of these children have boyfriends and they have sex. That is the truth that we have to face as a community. So you find that what comes out of it is sometimes an advantage or a disadvantage. A child is a blessing, first of all, but we also know that a child can hinder a young girl's activities, maybe stop her from going to school for a while. So I think that as we look into these issues, we need to look at the underlying issues. Why are so many young girls getting pregnant? Well, because maybe so many of them do not have the civic education, or maybe so many of them have problems that they find, sex to be the answer for. Like there's been a case in Ahero, just here in Nyando constituency, where there was no water and there was this thing that was running that, it's sex for water. These are things that push women, not just young girls, to do things that they would not do in normal circumstances. Now, what would I do to help curb teenage pregnancies and issues like that? First of all, I'd like to create safe centers for these girls to be educated, to be told on what they should do and how they should not do it. They should be advised on using protection, because the truth of the matter is we are not going to tell them to stop having sex and that they won't. They will. So we should advise them on how they can curb this and what awaits them after that. Now, I am not going to judge any girl for getting pregnant, and I'm not going to tell her, no, you failed in life for being pregnant. That is something that happens, and that is something that we just have to find a solution for. After she's gotten pregnant, now what? Now this and this. We are taking you back to school. We are helping you in this way and that way. Because everyone makes mistakes, including us, and these things happen. I wanted to also address the question that was asked by my friend there, that hatuna agenda and we have not discussed with the people. We have not gotten the time to speak out all of our agendas. I was also cut midway as I was trying to explain the plans that I have for the people of Kisumu County. So personally, as Valentine, I have a very concrete agenda for the people of Kisumu County, and I want to also let us know that leadership is not about the plan that the leader has. A leader is supposed to be a representation of the people. And I'm supposed to be a representation of every single person here. And every single person here faces a different problem that needs a different solution. So this is why I will have for PLWDs, I want to have a meeting with the committee, and in my government, if God willing we win, we want to have a committee for people living with different disabilities, because as I say, this is a position that looks at the the benefit of the vulnerable people in the society, and these are the people who are very vulnerable, and their vulnerability are different at different levels. We have those who are living with disabilities in the villages. They have they lack basic needs like just crunches, basic needs. We have those who are living with disabilities but are a bit economically empowered, and they can afford these things. So my focus are on the very vulnerable, those who cannot afford anything. Another focus that I have, I want to have a meeting with this group of people, because I personally cannot understand what they go through. They know better what they want and what they would like their leaders to do with them. And that is what I want for the people of Kisumu County. Leadership is not about the leader, just like my colleague here said, it's about the people, and I want to know the problems of the people and sort them out according to the different levels of the problems.
Okay, just one final round here before I need to go for a break, but yes. Where's the microphone? Okay, please stand so that we can see you.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Feni Mama from Kisumu Central. Okay, my question is, how will you promote women's sense for self-worth? In that, you see, as you said that you are going to curb this teenage pregnancy. Right now, we as girls, there are different methods of curbing this teenage pregnancy. How are we sure? How are we going to do it? By using which is the best commodities to use in order to curb this pregnancy? And also another question is that you are contesting at this as now, what is the best way you are going to do in order for us as teenagers or as young girls, in order to come up with the best thing for us to make us have that life, that good life, in that can make us, we as girls, to feel like there are some people outside there who can support us as ladies. That's my question.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dr. Kisio and Madam Valentine, both who are members of Maendeleo Wanawake. My name is Karen Aket, chairperson of Maendeleo Wanawake. The escalation of gender-based violence in our county is alarming and should be a concern to anybody born of a woman. So what I wanted to find out is, what are you going to do to improve the access of essential services to the victims? None of you has mentioned about it. Kindly just expound.
Okay, next question.
Good morning. I'm Martin Odiek from Kisumu East, Chega area. Now, I want to ask very brief questions directly. I'll start with Madam Valentine. When you started talking, maybe you didn't tell us whether you are married or you had how many children. That is saying. And just a minute. Now, what I wanted to tell you.
Okay, let's allow you to ask the question. What's your question?
Can you just tell us what you have done at present and what you will be doing in future? And again, this issue of floods. I'm from Kano here. Now, what will you be doing in this issue of floods, maybe to curb the menace so that we are not affected and people from Kano? Another question I'll take to Dr. Kisia. Now, there's this issue of clan politics. Just a minute, please. There's this issue of clan politics in Kisumu County. I hail from this county, and I'm a voter. we have clans. We have Nyakach, we have Kisumu, we have Seme, and probably, maybe God knows, Nyakach, there are people, maybe we perceive that they'll be getting the positions. We have a senator, and we have a deputy governor. And now you want a women rep, and you're also from Nyakach. Won't this affect you? How will you be going on? How will you look into this issue? Because it might affect your buying. Thank you very much.
Okay. This lady has been raising her hand for a long time, please.
Thank you very much. I was almost protesting. I'm Peter, and I'm the county treasurer of Maendeleo ya Wanawake. But my question is based on another position I hold of being the chair of Anti-Corruption Civilian Oversight Committee. Now, but being a woman, I think I have one concern, because when you sit up there, you are representing the women in Kisumu County. And when you're asked a question and you don't have an answer, kindly pass. But when you struggle to give an answer to something you have not thought out, the audience can pick it very clearly. And it's not a plus for you. So if you've not thought of a plan for something that you've been asked, please don't check, because you're reflecting on us. And it is not a very good reflection. If there's a question like the one of issues of persons with disability, if you have not thought about it, pass and say you win. But don't struggle. It comes out and doesn't come out well. Now, my question is that on issues corruption, the women suffer most. If we are going to put up a maternity wing in a health center and it is not done well, we are sort of putting that woman at risk. Now, we have markets that have been put up, but there are no lights. Or if the lights are put up, they are not sufficient. Now, we have roads that have been done, but without drainages, all right? And also, we've had quite a number of social centers that are put up, but they are not complete. So what are you going to do in terms of corruption to ensure that as much as you have a responsibility towards the vulnerable, if a health center is put up and there is no ramp for the persons with disability, what are you going to do about it? So briefly, if you have, but also again I say, if you have not thought about it, kindly don't ask. Thank you.
Okay. Let me take 2 more questions.
Thank you very much. First, I'd like to make a comment. As women, we'd like to know that you can be a leader and you can articulate our issues. Issues of being married to who is not important to us. So Valentine, if you're married or not, is not important. We just care that you can articulate our issues and articulate them very well. Having said that, I'd like to hear something about youth unemployment. The level of youth unemployment in this county is very high. And youth, one of the solutions is that they try to employ themselves through businesses. The cost of licensing is too high. So I'd want to hear what are these incentives that you're going to pass and legislate in support for youth being able to employ themselves through businesses. As a woman, I am passionate about us being in leadership. So I'd also like to hear, what are you going to put? And don't give us stories, say something radical. For us to achieve 2/3 gender rule that has been elusive for us, we have to do that which we have never done before. So I'd really want to hear that. And where is the space of mentorship for women who are coming up in politics and leadership, who is holding their hands? I'd want to hear that very well. And Daktari, you have occupied some of these spaces. What have you done? Valentine, what are you doing, even currently as an aspirant? You have talked about markets and traders. I'd like to bring to your attention that in Migosi, women traders get their loans from Maasais, and when they are unable to pay it, they have to pay with their bodies. They sleep with the Maasais and their loans are written off. I'd want to bring it to your attention as a matter of concern for me as a resident of Migosi. And then I'd want to bring to your attention, it is one thing to build markets. It's another thing to find out how they function. After this meeting, can we all walk to Uhuru Business Park And listen to the traders there. They are on the streets. They are able to sell. Yesterday I was there. When I was coming here at 6 p.m., there was a lady who had only sold 50 shillings. And she is a grandmother and has 7 children. Just because they can no longer sell because they were moved to the new market, but the people they sell to can no longer pass there, so they cannot sell their wares. So I want to hear what are we doing about markets, creating markets to our traders in this county. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Boaz Anienda. I'm from Central Kisumu Ward, which is near the airport. I want to start with information again. It's been talked about here. It's so much about girl child and pregnancies. I want to inform you that it's going beyond that, and a recent study showed that in 2021, 98 teams, teens aged 10 to 19 were getting new HIV infections every week. So that should be worrying this community. I think as we talk about pregnancies, we should not just look at the pregnancies, we should look at things that come with it again, and the things that you want to do for these girls, because we are talking about teens. And my questions, because I know I'll have a short time and I will not get another chance, one is on mentorship. We have a trend in this country where those who've been there for a long time, and this is to you, Dr. Kisia, that you want to occupy this space for as long as you can, and you're not mentoring people who are who should replace you when you actually exit this political space. What are you doing? How many people have you mentored so that when you are no longer a women rep or whatever position you will hold, somebody else takes that space? And to again on the same, there's been a trend again of people who are doctors, professors having these leadership positions, tending to surround themselves with other professors, other doctors, and forgetting the youths and people who also have fresh ideas. Again to Madam Valentine. The other trend is young people who are in leadership surrounding themselves with young people who do not know what to do. And we end up people fleecing public funds because they want to get rich very fast. What are you going to do? How are you going to create a balance between these positions, the people, the affirmative action, the spirit of affirmative action, and what is actually right?
Okay, that's enough. Thank you. Yes. I'm going people to need to ask questions. So when you have a microphone, please, you can't ask 200 questions. Thank you for your questions. All right. Let me get one final question there.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Samuel Oyam, a resident of Kisumu town. First and foremost, I will wish to sound this. That let's not just farm the English words, but let's provide solutions to the issues that are raised by the people of Kisumu. When you speak a lot of English and don't speak, I get what she sounded, but if you're not sure of what you want to answer, then leave it. Because we have, the time here is essential. My question is this. My two sisters there were given a question on teenage pregnancy. They are really fumbled with it. They have not given us a solution. I want to ask them if they are aware that in as much as they are aspiring to be women in Kisumu County, are they aware that there are organizations and government entities that are handling such issues? And I've just heard from them how they will relate with them. They are trying to create their own world. Their own world in terms of this. Can you people come out clear about this? Because it's an issue affecting us. Two, on trade. There's a typical lady in Adingo Panga, and that is Nyakachi. She has gone into the forest to fetch firewood, a bundle of it, carried on the head from Adingo Panga to Kolweny Market. Reaching Kolweny Market before the firewood is sold, the county revenue collector says put it down and bring 50 bob before the bundle of firewood is what? And the same bundle of firewood is going to be sold at 50 what? are 50 bob. You are talking about helping the vulnerable, and this one is vulnerable. Can you clearly come out and tell us how you're going to help these people, the two of you? Lastly, I would wish to say this, that we have the vulnerables and we believe in them. Let's not just create histories because we are looking for the position, but let's get out with clear policies that we know is going what? Well, thank you.
Okay, I will come back in this round again, but let me come so that we finish this, so that when we come back, we have a good level of, questions and conversations. We have to get back to these questions of teenage pregnancy and HIV and AIDS new infections. Do you have a plan? Have you thought about it?
Thank you very much for that question. Before, I just mentioned here that we should not see leaders as they are supposed to be, taking care of everything. The reason why we elect leaders is for them to represent us and for them to do what we want them to do. So I think it would be a very constructive conversation if people started telling leaders what to do. Like, there is this problem, and I personally believe that this is the solution that we should have for it. I think that is why we elect all leaders, because leaders cannot, they might not know what is happening. But for one thing, I believe that teenage pregnancies mostly as a result of, you find most girls in the villages do not have what to do, and an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So we need to get these girls busy. Those who have finished school, those who have not found an opportunity to go to school, that is why I am talking about vocational training centers. That is why I am talking about creating an enabling business environment for the youth. That is why I am talking about being there for these people and giving them the civic education that they need. Being there to talk for them, working with the already existing organizations, asking them, where do you need my support as a leader? What would you like the Office of the Woman Rep to do for you? And that is what to do. I believe that every pregnancy, every girl who gets pregnant, they want a different solution. Some of these girls do not want to go back to school. Some of them want to start businesses. So I'm not going to have one plan that applies to everybody. I am going to sort out each problem according to the specific need that it needs, the specific attention that it needs. And before I give to my colleague here, I'd just like to answer a few questions that I have.
No, we'll come to that. I just want to finish this question first.
Okay.
We'll come back to that. The same question.
The question of teenage pregnancies. I'll still just go over it the same way I did. I, for one, don't believe in contraceptives like morning pills or other kinds of pills, condoms, and all that. That is my church background. However, we know that teenage pregnancies is a reality.
And HIV infections, new infections,
Yes,
not just that.
Yeah, and because they go together. Sometimes you can get the two, sometimes if you're lucky you get one. So they go together. So for me, what I think I should do, given what I believe in also, is to ensure that I engage young girls at different levels. I used to like one program, I think Wanga had it in Homa Bay. It was called Mama County Says, where she would, during school holidays, get girls together and they get people talk to them on a variety of issues. And I think that was a good program because we can also talk to our people. But talking alone cannot help. We also need to think of a program that can empower our youths at different levels. If they're in school, most of the time they may get into these kind of relationships because they need simple things like sanitary towels, pens or books or whatever. So is there a way in which we can come up with a program that can support things like that within the GAV and also within networking with other organizations. Then at another level, we have those who have finished schools. Like even yesterday, one mother was talking to me. The girl has finished school, can't go to college, is at home, 9, I think I just told her, please, let me finish this, whether I get this position or not, get hold of me, and I'll see how to support the girl. So that was just one girl, but I know there are a number of them in that category. So we have to think of what kind of training we can take these young girls to after Form 4. And you know, there are some things that are really good when it comes to income, like saloon, but sometimes people don't see them positively. But we need to talk to them and encourage them for such professions. For those who have not finished school, got it on the way, Form 2, Form 3, I already said I will have a program where we can be able to take care of the children and take these girls back to school. For me, I think that's what I can do when I'm given the chance to occupy this office.
I want to finish this issue. And has anyone in the room to speak specifically on these questions of teenage pregnancy and HIV news infections, so that we finish it? Is this a plan? Do you have a better plan?
Good morning, everybody. I am Ambassador Benedict Adechule. I'm not a Kenyan. I represent AU, COMESA, EAC, and IGAD as an observer in preparation for the forthcoming election. Having said that, we've been talking about teen pregnancy for the past 5 to 10 minutes. But it is, thank you. It is very obvious that we must look at the issue of teenage pregnancy because it's a very major issue. And it is, but we have to look at it holistically. In the first place, it takes two to tango. In all this discussion, I've not seen anybody talk about the boy child as it affects teenage pregnancy. It's not the boy child alone, but you must train your boy from the beginning, from the home, the consequences of their actions. Even though most times boys walk away, the girls got to leave the school for some time at least, or permanently. If she decides to abort, it could lead to untimely death. If she follows the advice of her parents to keep the pregnancy against all odds, she runs the risk of being stigmatized in the society. She will invariably become a single mother taking care of this child without little or no support from the people of government. So, what is my solution? Because our sister here advised that we should not just be talking down to them and asking them questions, but we can make suggestions. My suggestion that issues relating to this kind of thing must be addressed at the family level from the beginning. You must inculcate in your children the need, both male and female, the need for them to understand what they are doing. Maybe later, I don't want to go into controversy of sex education in school, but if we play a role in letting people know that there are consequences for their actions and that it may not be just a fleeting thing, it may be a permanent thing, but the parents must always also talk to their boy at home. Sometimes our way of doing things in Africa, because I see some of these things, issues that arise here, even back home, we share similar problems, is that in some families, we take the boy child to be special. He does anything and we just rub his head and he moves away. Whereas, we ask the girl to stay in the kitchen. I don't want to stay too long, but the most important thing is that family education is important. We must treat the boy child and the girl child as responsible, prepare them for responsible citizenship in the future. Thank you.
Someone who's not spoken about this question of teenage pregnancy.
Okay, thank you. By name, I'm Mugumu Fancy Amondi with the Plan International. One thing that I want to make us all understand, teenage pregnancy does not just affect us, the girls from the village areas, but also in town. Majorly for the girls in town, it's because of our backgrounds. Our parents naturally, they have to fight for us, give us food on the table. And then for the ladies and the gents in the community back home, they have to also get what the girls in town don't have. So number one is neglect from our families. You find that maybe your parent is very busy to put food on the table, they don't have time with us. So the first thing that I want to give is a solution. If we could have more counseling centers within the towns and also in the rural areas, this would really help a lot. Because one, the girls would have some place to go for refuge and have someone to talk to freely without being judged. Also, the same applies to home. Then if you guys are supposed to be bringing staff that are supposed to be helping us, like the pads, that would help majorly, because some of the things are pads. And again, another thing, now that our parents are also busy, the girls they can't even get pregnant by themselves. They need a man. And in some cases, you realize the border guy is the person who gets this girl, instead of taking her to her drop point, which would be school or maybe wherever they're supposed to be taken, they take advantage because this is the person to whom they have all of the time to spend with. So they just have to trust this person, and because of fear and then lack of that time of one-on-one person, they get to get attached to this person and even at some point get to do what they want. Another thing now for the schools of, rather the institutes that you're talking about, I would rather suggest you guys help build us houses or rather hostels, which are cheap and affordable, because it is one for a youth to struggle to pay fees and again get some good cash and some place to stay in. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Just one on teenage pregnancy. Allow me to stand here, and this one goes to Dr. Rose Kisia. Actually, some 2-3 days ago, we had a report, a global report, that Kenya is ranking 3rd when it comes to teenage pregnancy. And then I know there is a campaign that is now on, which is called a triple threat, which means that teenage pregnancy is here with us. I'm so sad when you're telling us that as a Catholic you don't believe in contraceptives. I really want to believe that as a leader, it is not about you, and it is also about others. And you are not only going to lead Catholics, you are going to lead different people. And one of the things, you are not going to be blind that our young girls are not having sex. They've started having sex. If you look at the research, from the age of 8, girls and young women are already start having sex. My colleagues have talked about sex education, which is very key. But again, at some point, we really don't need to be blind on some things. And I would want to ask you, maybe going forward, one of the questions, what is your belief in diversity and inclusion for the people of Kisumu? Thank you.
Okay, I need to finish on this. Someone who feels strongly something that has not been said. Surely, about this same point. Yes. This lady here believes she has something she's not said. That has not been said. You.
Something that has not been said.
About this?
Yes.
Okay.
Something that has not been said about this, for us to end teenage pregnancy and HIV/AIDS among adolescent youths are the leading. The new HIV incidence among youth is at 42%. So I'll say nothing for us without us. Involve the youth. Let us have the youth-friendly facilities whereby I can walk in without being judged. If I want to abort, I'll not be judged by anyone. So let us have the youth-friendly facilities for these youths to walk in and get the services that they need. And then the counseling will come in, and then we'll be able to end this. Without judging, if you start saying that if I get abortion, I'm not for that. For me, I'm pro-choice. Others are pro-life, and that's my decision. So let us involve the youth. Nothing for us without us. Thank you.
Thank you. We've finished on that question. I want to come back here and wrap it up, okay? Have you had anything that has changed your mind?
Yeah, I'm very happy actually about the direction that this discussion is taking, because we are hearing solutions, we are hearing what needs to be done and from what points of view. So for one thing, I'm very happy with what she has said, because it's different condition for different girls. We have girls who are living in the city who have a totally different mindset from girls who are living in the villages. So personally, I have taken note of everything that has been said here, and if God willing we win this position, what you have said is what I will do, and I'm very grateful.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I think I started by saying yes, I'm responding to that lady, that is my background, but I gave solutions, and even within Catholic, where they don't accept contraceptives, they have solutions to that. So I'm not saying, and I started by saying that even myself, I have a daughter, and I do understand a lot of things that young people go through, and that is one of the things, teenage pregnancies and HIV/AIDS. So we all, even from the church perspective, we have ways of dealing with such. So also we just respect one another. Inclusivity, I don't, even when we went for the first debate and before nominations, I still don't believe even in gay and lesbian, and you're not going to change my mind on that.
Okay, I want to go to the next and final round, yes, of questions. Let's start with you.
Thank you very much. My name is Elizabeth Duya. I work for Transparency International Kenya. I have a question on corruption, and specifically on the national government affirmative action funds. Recently there was a report from the Office of the Auditor General about misuse of the funds, particularly in Kisumu. It was on the spot. We understand the role of these funds in terms of empowering women, youths, and PWDs. My question to the candidates regarding these funds is, what plans do you have in place to ensure that there is no corruption in the utilization of these funds, and that the right people get to benefit from these funds? Thank you.
Okay. Next question on funds and corruption. What is your question on? Yes, we'll come back to this. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, I'm Trina from Kenya, and my question goes to both of you. And my question is, what are your mitigating strategies towards women's land and property rights? What are you going to do about it? Because we know that women face a lot of barriers for them to own lands and title deeds. What are you going to do about that?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Beatrice Ohito from Kisumu East, and also a member of a union. My first question is, I'd like to find out, you've talked of maybe when you get the position, you'll employ people. What method will you be using to employ people? Because most people, when they get elected, they'll choose their own people, the people they think really worked hard for them to get the position. Will you have a competitive method of people getting those positions? Number two, we talked of giving funds to people in the markets. But in Kisumu here, our markets have been very inconsistent. Today I'm in Kibuye, the next day I'm in Stadium. We keep on changing the markets, and you know, our business, market businesses depends on where you are and the kind of customers. Like in Kisumu, most traders, like when I'm trading in eggs, I have my customers who know that I'm at a particular place, they'll come, I'll give them the eggs, they go and sell, and then they'll return. But the next day they come, they find that I've been displaced, I'm no longer there, I'm in another place, they don't know how to access me. How will they be returning this money that I gave them? Most trades in Kisumu is on loan. I give you items, you go and sell, and then you'll give me the money. But when you come and find me, I'm not in that place, I've been displaced. How sure are you that these customers will be able to trace me and give me this money so that I can return that fund that you're giving me? There's inconsistency in our trade in Kisumu. That is a reality. As much as we are developing Kisumu town and we know that we have to move to another place, are we given enough notice that everybody is aware that come next month, everybody will not be at this place, will be going at this place, so that I also inform my customers where I'll be. But so many traders have really lost a lot of money because of this being displaced every now and then. I'm taken to Saniam. The next day, I just hear that now we are being removed from that place, and I've already given people things on credit. Most of these traders, I don't even know them. We trade together, I give them the money, and then they're supposed to return in the evening. This inconsistency, how are you going to deal with it? Because most people have really been grounded and they've even gone home. As much as we have Cabro in town, but there's a big problem.
Okay.
Thank you very much. My name is Hassan Obidi. I work with the team. Well, I want to really bring to your attention, the candidates, that we've talked so well to address the issues that are related with the aspect of social decadence. But are you aware that we have a street family? And are you aware that on the streets of Kisumu, where this family are established, that there are those elements of girls and even women who are living there? Do you have a program, or have you packaged your program in a way that it will also address the issues that are affecting the street family and also the vulnerable? And what arrangement do you have, actually, even for other girls who are not on the street, but then they are underserved or they are unseen and unknown by the public? Thank you.
Okay, let's deal with this. Let's start with you on the.
Do we go back to a number of other questions that were asked
Very quickly, because
before?
a lot of time, yes, so just quickly
Yeah.
mention, because some of
Because
them
I
are
think
repetition.
two of them were directly to me about mentorship, so I think I need to respond to that. Okay, I can give a few examples of mentorship that I've done. For one, I've taken over 100 children to high school through my networks in Japan, and some of those kids, some went to the university, some maybe not up to the university, but at least they finished their Form 4. Then when I was at the county government, I think one of the most vibrant directors in tourism is a guy that I mentored in that department. In academics, it's all about mentorship. I can't count the number of people that have passed through my hands, but now we are talking specifically on the public life, not in school life. So those are a few examples of mentorship that I can give. And even when we had the program of Miss Tourism, it was not just a Miss Tourism program, but it was also a program of somehow mentorship programs. And I think some of those ladies have gone far. Then there's a question that I asked about clans. I know in Kisumu County, I was in charge of heritage, and there are 5 clans plus diaspora, so that is 6. We have Nyakach, Nyando, Orkano, then we have Kisumu, Seme, and Kajulu. Those are 5 clans. But I want to believe we are aspiring, so we can't say Nyakach has a DG and Nyakach has a senator, because people are aspiring now. We don't know who will get what. So we are not going to assume, but I love what is happening in Kenya today. It is not about, it is about an individual. All these positions can go to, let's say, Kano. Nobody will bother that much. So long as that person is going to work for them, that is what they are looking for. Because if we start looking for clans, even this position of human right, the people who are aspiring, are they from originally these clans here, or they are not? So let's not talk about clans. Let's talk about an individual and who can deliver for the people of Kisumu. And secondly, we don't know who is going to get what. So we are not, personally, I don't think we need to talk about that now. And what was the other? I know there were many. Land rights. Land rights, I know, even me in my own family, I kept on telling my husband and brothers-in-law that your sister must get this piece of land. Because we are still in that old thinking that ladies are not supposed to own anything. So this office should really, one of the things that it should do is to also highlight some of these things so that as ladies, as women, we know that you have a right, just like your brother, to inherit anything from your father. So probably we'll create a small department that will deal with issues like that to enlighten our people about it. So I'm just selecting some of, not all of them.
The question of corruption?
Yes, that is another one. And I think somebody tied this with the markets. First, I want to say that I worked in the county government 5 years ago, not now. Whatever I left, those from Kano, you might remember, Nyangande Market, Korowe Market, there were lights in those markets when I left, or when we left. So if they are not there now, that is not me to answer, because I did my part then. And then corruption, at least some of us, we've had the opportunity to work at that level where you are responsible for some budget, and we were able to manage it well, and here we are. But I know, like Kisumu Gulf, there's a highlight of a 6 million Gulf market in Zitino or where it has come up a few times. So anyway, for me, I have worked in a responsible position, and I've come out just clean, and I am, as you have heard, I am very stuck to some of my beliefs, maybe Christian or whatever. I believe in what is meant for the public should be for the public and not private use. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Those who have gone with before us, who are denying us the spaces, they are not leaving these spaces for us. They are not doing anything to mentor us, because I tell you what, up to this moment, I personally started my campaigns in last year, around July. And doors have been shut in my face because I started my campaigns with absolutely no budget, no resources, no job, just a young girl who wants to change the community and who wants to do something different for the community. When we went for those meetings, leaders meetings, I literally used to fight for all those spaces. When we went for Azimio La Umoja rally, I literally snatched the mic to be given an opportunity to talk. Because you find that most politicians are just over there shouting, Vijana Ria, Vijana power. But now when a real Kijana comes up to talk, the Kijana is not being given a chance. And then you are left wondering. So young people do not have spaces. And I am a very good example for that. I've fought my spaces through, and up to this point, I can only say that it's been God. Those that I'm competing with, these are people who have worked in the county government. One of my opponents who are here, who is not here, this is someone who's been a deputy governor. Yani, these are people who can ask, nipatie bread, and they will get that. Give me this position, that is what they will get. And they're still not leaving position. And that is why I have stood up to tell the young people that no matter what, you still have to continue fighting for these chances. Because it is not going to come on an easy platter. It is not going to come on a silver plate. My opponents, their main agenda is youth empowerment. While I am a youth competing with them, they should empower me by stepping down and supporting me, and they're not doing that. We are being told every day, you're the leaders of tomorrow. When is that tomorrow coming? We are still wondering. We are still waiting for tomorrow. But as we wait, we are not going to just sit there and keep quiet. We're going to do something about it and fight for these spaces. So that is on mentorship. As young people, we are still so much behind, and we have to do something about it. The second thing that I wanted to discuss on corruption, I want to make sure that in this leadership, we manage the NGAF resources well. NGAF is a money that is just approximately 49 million every year for the whole county. That means that you only have 1 million for each sub-county. 1 million is not enough to do anything tangible that we are talking about right here. So this is why I want to be able to use this office and the influence of this office to lobby and mobilize for resources so that we can have more money in this office to be able to implement these projects. Because if I come here and tell you that I'm going to use 1 million in one sub-county or in all 35 wards to make sure that we build safe centers for girls, to make sure that we handle GBV desks for those who are victims, I'm not going to do anything. That money cannot even be enough to do the market projects that I want. So this is why I want to use the influence of this office to mobilize for resources and to bring this. And those leaders who are boasting about having networks, what are they doing with their networks right now? I personally cannot boast of having any network. No, I do not have any network, because I am still a young person who is just fighting through her space. But those that are with this team, they claim about going, working with people abroad, working with organizations. What are they doing for us with that? Why do they need this office to do that? I personally need this office because I need its influence. And if we get those networks, we are not going to sit on it. So that is another thing on corruption. I want to ensure accountability and transparency and make sure that in that government, we have a representation of everyone, a representation of the young people, a representation of people living with disabilities, a representation of the old people, and everyone inclusively, and we make sure that we push for inclusion. Another thing that I'd like to answer shortly before we continue is if I'm married. Yes, I am married, and I am married in Kajulu. So if that was a point for not voting for me, please vote for me again. Another thing about the women who are working in different markets, those who have been affected by demolitions and so forth. I was asked about how are you going to manage this market prosperity fund when women keep moving from one market to another. This is why NGAF is structured in a way that it deals with groups, registered groups, that are under, members of market traders, something that you can follow up and something that you can follow up to the end. So we are not just going to find random people in the market and give them money. We are going to make sure that those who are in the market are registered in a certain groups in an organized way so that they find this money and that we can trace them and follow up. Thank you.
Okay, one final round of anything that you feel strongly about, and specifically for the position of the woman rep.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. I'm Phoebe from Selma, but I have a question. What plan do you have to ensure that we have equity when it comes to issuance of bursary? Then secondly, what plan do you have to fully furnish hospitals, especially maternity sector? And lastly, okay, sorry for that. And lastly, we talked about sanitary towels. Do you have a plan to provide adequate sanitary towels for girls and teen mothers? Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm Washington Dong from SEM. I want to address an issue which I've not had to talk to you. And that's about water. I know water is involved in the counties, but for a woman right, it comes directly to you because it is the women who fetch water. In my community, it takes about 60% or the economic time, fetching for water, then leaving other issues or other matters also, which also need attention. The county government has done very well on the issue of water, especially in my area. As a woman rep, what are you going to do to work with the incoming county government to ensure that water is there? Because they are doing absolutely nothing about it. Money allocated for water does not do water work. Then it ends like that. Thank you.
Washington.
Thank you very much. I'm Sylvia Oko from SEME, from the Shillings program. My question goes to all the aspirants. My question is, what new plan do you have for us? What are you going to do differently apart from what the previous women representative did that will help the girls and young women and also to the vulnerable groups? Thank you.
My name is Rosemary. I work for Plan International, and I want to appreciate for you taking time to be here. I'm just struggling. Maybe at 22, I didn't figure out what to do for life. So my question is, a lot of you are talking about partnerships externally. I work for a civil society. If you look behind you, those are civil society. Most of them are not here, but they have all the resources. So my question is, instead of looking abroad to look for investors, how are you going to partner with civil societies? We were just minutes ago grappling with issues around teenage pregnancies and HIV. So how are you going to even partner with organizations that already have resources here so that we're able to work this journey together? Our role is to complement the work of government. So how are we going to work together? The other question is about youth inclusion. I'm glad you brought it out. Yes, they are used as foot soldiers. But how is the government going to ensure that we do not have only youth participation, but we have youths who are involved from conception to execution, so that these youths are part of your office, they are part of supporting in terms of implementation, so that we don't just bring them to form a program, but they're also part and parcel of the journey. And lastly, the other question I also wanted to talk about is, as we involve the young people and even as we partner. My experience, I have been working in this space for a very long time. You're elected today, you people have very beautiful things to say. But the next time I'm having International Women's Day, I have to beg your presence to come and talk to people of Kisumu. The next time I'm having International Day of the Girl Child, I have to literally go on my knees for you to even just come and talk to these girls. In front here, these are girls that we work with. They represent a bigger quorum of teen girls, others who are teen moms. I have to literally bring to your attention that please come and talk. Let us have a conversation. Then you want to come back the fourth or the last year so that we look for people. So what are you going to do differently when you're sent to office? Thank you.
Yes, my name is Weda. As an artist, my question would be, what's your agenda on artists or art as an industry in this county? And then another one, you are talking about creating employment, grants, what have you. But you know, there's so many bureaucratic red tapes that need to be cut for someone to even access the grants. Another issue we have the lake just outside here. It's a natural resource, and we are not really exploiting it to our economic advantage. So what's the plan that you have in place for us to really exploit the lake in all those recreational activities and economic activities that can be used to help the youth of Kisumu? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I'm Keruko Yuki. I have some questions for the aspirants. I'm coming from one of the slum areas in Yalenda. And in the slum areas, we have some loans and savings. So as the aspirants, what plans do you have to those women who have those concepts? Another thing, as you look at the slum areas, it is not as what is required. What plans do we have to change the face of the slum areas? If you go to informal settlement, and not only the informal settlement, we have the gender-based violence cases. So what plans do you have to ensure that there is a decrease in the GBV cases? Thank you so much.
Okay, let's deal with that.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. On gender-based violence, statistics show that here in Kisumu, we have like 60% of women and girls suffering from this. And you find that a number of them are as a result of rape, some of them as a result of sodomy, some of them are just family issues. Now, looking at what we have in the county, you realize that we have some GBV tests and centers that are made, but they are not conducive. Like, for example, there is one in Ahero, but it is in a police station. So you find that this is not really a safe space, because some of us are naturally afraid of the police, not because we've done anything wrong or anything, but like me personally, I really fear the police, not because I've done anything, but so you find that that is a place I cannot go when I'm in trouble. So what we need to do, as what I am going to do personally, I am going to work with organizations to make sure that we have gender-based violence recovery centers. Now we need recovery centers, and we don't just need a desk and a chair in a room. We need a place where we can get services, real services, and we need these places to be in places that are secluded, places that you're not going to have people judging you, places that people are going to see you walking in and judge you, because victims of these things, you find that they suffer a lot from things like discrimination, stigmatization. They don't want their problems to be out in the public. They need a safe space. That is why we call it safe. So I'm going to ensure that we have these centers in places that are secure, and make sure that we put facilities that are good for the victims. Like, for example, somebody who is a victim do not just need to be talked to. They do not only need counseling. Sometimes they also need treatment. Someone whose husband has beaten, amekuja amefura, maybe she doesn't even have money to go to the hospital. Maybe they do not even have, she doesn't have resources at all. They're just looking for somewhere to help. So we need facilities that can offer even treatment services. We need these people to be having their lawyers. Some of us, not just some of us, many of the residents of Kisumu County cannot afford a lawyer. So we need to put up, legal options for these people. Let them have lawyers. Let them have facilities that can help them. Facilities like, first aid kit, have trained professional nurses who can help them, and have professional counselors who can help them get through these issues. I think that is what we need. What I've seen in Kisumu County is just buildings, a desk, and a chair. That is not what we need. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Gender-based violence. First, we must understand that it is both male and female. Personally, I think the best way to handle this, and it comes in different forms. It can be sexual, it can be physical, it can be psychological, all this. So one is to have, it's not possible that in every sub-county we can have an institution, but we can have one, and with maybe a small center at the sub-county. But for the major support, we can put them in one place. I wouldn't put them where I would put maybe health together with the rescue center. I will have a rescue center, and for the specialized services that are needed, I will have to source them. Like if somebody needs treatment, you take that person to the hospital and then back to the center. So that's one thing that we will do, and we will network with both internal and external to see that we create that particular center. Because as we all know, Okay. This same money we can say is not enough, but again it's also enough because it has built markets, it has built things like that. So even building a safe space like this, it can do. But if you have if you have to do a proper space, then you'll need a little more, and that you can look for partnership. The other thing, there will be need to partner with institutions like the police. I mean, partner. Then we have like FIDA. You can partner with FIDA where legal advice is needed because they always give free legal advice, free in quotes. You can partner with the county government because they are also working on this so that we have an wholesome kind of support for that gender-based violence cases in the county.
Okay, I want to ask you to make your final comments because we've really run out of time. Let me start here and then you finish and then we hand this back to the organizers. What's your final comments?
First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for taking your time to listen to what we have, and I'd also like to thank you for bringing in your ideas and your solutions to the problems. I'm personally walking out of this room with a lot of knowledge on how some of the things that I didn't have an existing plan for should be handled in this county. So mine really is just to ask for your vote and to ask you that as we go into elections this August, let us remember to put in leaders who are going to put our interest in their heart. I believe that we are not going to elect leaders according to age, parties, or the titles that they have. I believe that we are going to elect good leaders according to what they are able to do for you. And I am requesting, this is a special appeal for you, that this 2022 elections, let us try as the people of Kisumu County to have one youth in the county positions, because you find that a lot of young people, all of us young people are represented, and we need that representation in the government. Another thing that I would like to mention is that I want you to remember that leaders are not supposed to be leaders, they're supposed to be servants of the people. If I am here requesting you to give me a job, then I need to serve you, and I need to serve you the way you want to be served. When you're employing someone, you need them to do things the way you want them to do. So I want to remind us that leaders are servants, and that I know that several organizations are here. If God willing we win, I want to be able to work with all of you. I want you to come with all the solutions that you need your county woman representative to do, and I promise to be there and to deliver and to make sure that these things will be handled. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dear the people of Kisumu, I want to take this opportunity to thank you so much for taking your good time. I think it's over 4 hours or 5 to be here this morning to listen to the two of us. I am sure the choice will be between the two of us because the other people decided not to be here. I believe as members of Kisumu County, I always say one thing, that before devolution, Kisumu was Luo and Luo was Kisumu. In other words, if you told somebody in Mombasa that you are Otieno or Onyango, they quickly say Kisumu, all right? So I want to just request that when you choose Kisumu leaders, you choose a leader that will not only represent Kisumu, but that leader that will represent the Luos, because this is the capital. The other thing I wanted to say, I am not asking for these votes because I am old or I am young, but I am asking for your votes because I believe I have something to deliver for the people of Kisumu. There are things in every step of life. Some of us, we have been tried, we have been tested. Even when it comes to issues that we are talking about corruption, we have worked in those places and we have come out clean. So I just want to urge the people of Kisumu that look at that person that have been tried and tested, because then you can feel safe with your ngafu. The other thing that I want to say, I think we had said it before, that leadership is not about myself, it is about yourself. When I say I'm representing Kisumu, I should be representing you in that August house. So as we are going to get to the final day, 9th of August, we are not going, I want to plead with you that look at an individual at whatever level of seat, whether the president is no question, that one is done. I think we have all done it, right? Isn't it? Yeah. That is Azimio. We don't have a problem. We are going to vote to the last man. But when it comes to these other positions, we are going to look at an individual as a person and see what they can do for us. The time has come that we are now looking at an individual, regardless of whichever clan, regardless of whatever age, regardless of whatever kind of person you have. Can you deliver? Can you deliver to the people of Kisumu? I am very much encouraged. I thought it was only in Kisumu or Homa Bay or Migori where things were hot. But I say my husband is a professor in Moi University. When I went there a week or two ago, I realized that the person who is going to be a governor in Uasin Gishu County is an independent candidate. So the democracy has finally set in our society, that is Kenya. So I want to urge you, the people of Kisumu, as Dr. Rose Kisia, I am humbly requesting for your vote to represent you as the third woman rep for Kisumu County. I know this is not my first time to look for this position, but I know I've always gotten good support from, even during nomination I got very good support. But I've never reached where I am sitting on my own chair and directing issues. I'm sure if you give me that opportunity this time, you will see what I can do, because even when I was at the county, you saw what I do. For my daughter, Valentine, I am sure I'll be a good mentor to you. I'll give you a scholarship to go and do your master's and PhD. After 5 years, I will support you for the position.
Okay, I want to thank both my guests. Please,
Let me just add one thing. Let me just add just one little thing. Thank you very much for the offer. But if I was looking for a master's or PhD, I know where to look at. And some of us, it's not just about masters and PhDs. Some of us are already in families. And what we are looking at is how to put food on the table, not to get most education. And it sounds really like an insult, because this is not, I'm not hearing this for the first time. The first time I also heard that you mentioned that you'd give me school fees. I believe that if I want school education, there are several reputable organizations here who could hold my hands and I could get a master's or PhD whenever I want. But that is not the point. What I want is to work for the people of Kisumu County, and we are asking the old guards to leave these spaces for some of us who are coming up. Please just leave these spaces for us, mentor us in that way. I think what I was talking about the people is what the people want, not what you want for them. So you want a scholarship for me? No, I don't want that. What I want is for you to support me to lead the people.
Okay. A final round of applause for the two representatives taking time to be with us this evening. Thank you very much to both of you. You've done well to take time to discuss your issues and with the people. I'm now handing it back to the organizers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Tuwapigie makofi jamani. Well done. Well put. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have to make a decision on life. My work starts when you're elected. We will not be good friends. That's the work I do. So for now we are friends. But me personally as George, my work will start immediately you are elected. Na tutakanyagana. Mpaka hiyo maneno yote mnasema ifanywe sawa sawa. Are we together? Yes. Yeah, that's what I do always. Mimi am an inspirator and an inciter. And I'm very happy about that. Again, I want to thank Dr. Kisia, I want to thank Valentine, and I also want to thank James Matt for taking time to come, and all of you. But now, I want one girl here, mwenye anajiamini akuja atoe vote of thanks. Hapana, si wewe. Hii jeshi yenye iko branded. Hebu amueni mmoja wenu. How can you lead and you're looking at me and you don't want to? Vote of thanks.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. Once more, I'm Ms. Omerigoreti from Kisumu West. We are here Shilit's team. Shilit is a project being implemented by Plan in Kisumu West, Semen, Moroni. So we are looking forward to amplify for the voices of girls and young women in Kenya. So I want to take this opportunity to thank Madam Kisia and Madam Valentine for allowing us to sit here and to project our issues that affect us as women here in Kisumu County. So I also want to thank everyone for coming to this session. I think you've enjoyed and it was interactive, and we are looking forward to elect someone who will change our life as women in Kisumu County. So don't elect with your stomach, elect with your mind. Thank you.
Viva comrades, viva! Viva! Viva comrades, viva! Viva! Very well. This is well done. I think we are good to go. So I only want to request you.
Thank you very much to our candidates. We have one last assignment that we want to do. As they were speaking, as they were sharing, as the candidates were sharing their agenda with us, we were noting some of the issues down, and we have summarized the areas in which we shall use to engage with them after the elections and if they're successful. So we have this summarized in a form of a commitment form that we would like them to sign in front of you, and we are going to be able to share this out after this exercise. So maybe I'll invite George back and some of the partners who are here to come and witness this as the candidates, you can sign it. Yes, as the candidates sign this commitment form. Thank you. Can we have a representative from Plan 14?
Is OPD here? Okay. So tunaomba ukuje hapa kwa kipole. As that is happening, I know there are different participants who are invited differently. Kuna wale walikuwa invited na Plan, kuna wale walikuwa invited na team, na kuna wale walikuwa invited na TI. So I want to request that mutabaki nyuma. Those who are invited, mutabaki nyuma. Thank you. So in the meantime, the other debate we are going to have is for Kisumu Central Sub-County. So far, 3 have confirmed, 2 are still thinking. And making this publicly so that you can reach to those who are still thinking that when the people call them, they should come. Mnajua sisi ndio tunalipa hawa si. Hapo ndio wanakosea kidogo. So I know a candidate from DAP has confirmed, Dr. Joshua Ron has confirmed, and Oda has also confirmed. So I think there are 2 more or 1 more who hasn't confirmed. So you can reach them because I know supporters wao wako hapa ndani.
Excuse me. While there are some forms that have been distributed. Are we together? Yes. Nazile forms, would like to get a feedback of this event. So there is a small error of the form written Kisumu gubernatorial debate. We are trying to recycle some of the forms we used yesterday. So just know that it is women rep. Just cancel appropriately and fill appropriately. Kwa pamoja. Is there anyone who has any difficulty filling it? You indicate the candidate's name, then you give the feedback. Do you think this debate will influence your decision, yes or no? And on the back page also give a scale of a rating of the experience. Sawa.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, order please. This is the very last session bit of it. We want really to cover as the commitment form is being handed over to the candidates. I'm requesting the candidates, please. The mission is not yet over, please. Just receive. Sorry? Yes. No, they can now stand. You can now stand and receive the copy. This is a commitment copy that they are having that is acting as the climax for the whole engagement session. Yes, so the woman representative of Kisumu candidates are receiving the commitment form. That all that they have said here, they will be able to undertake and see to it that they do what it takes. So can Madam Valentine, can you receive yours first? Give him a clap. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam. Yes, Daktari. Appreciation for Daktari. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All the best. All right.
And finally, the third stanza of the national anthem in Kiswahili. Naomba tusimame tafadhali. Na tujenge taifa letu, ndio wajibu wetu. Kenya istahili heshima, tuungane mikono pamoja kazini, kila siku tuwe na shukrani. And we can clap for ourselves. Na mwakikishe mumepiga kura jameni. About Kisumu sub-county, you know how you communicate. So we will communicate that, don't worry.
Kindly give me the forms.
Remind again, if you are invited by institutions, zile tatu, team, TI, and clan, please remain seated.